Welcome back to The Critique. This material is a video transcript exploring the right's internal conflict over extremist voices, focusing on Matt Walsh's shifting stance, ending with a documentary promotion.
And, that ending is exactly where we have to start. The abrupt insertion of that promotional documentary content, it severely compromises the structural coherence of the whole piece.
It's total whiplash, isn't it? I mean, the creator does such a good job building this really intense, high-stakes momentum.
Right.
You've met Walsh in 2017 calling them Nazi and white supremacist losers, and now it's all about unity. You've got the whole debate with Seth Dillon, even references to political violence, that whole As a Nation's Work idea.
Exact. The gravity is there. And then, stop. We suddenly jump into a full-blown trailer for The Real Nakba.
Yeah, a really detailed one about the displacement of Jews from Arab lands in 1948.
And the weakness here isn't the documentary. I mean, the subject's obviously important. It's the placement. The entire focus on the strategy of the modern right just gets completely fractured.
Right at the climax.
You're forcing the audience to just switch gears from this urgent contemporary political problem to a historical deep dive. You kind of break the contract with the viewer.
So the suggestion has to be about integration. You either integrate it thematically or you create a better transition so you don't lose the audience.
Well, the easiest fix is probably the best one here. Just move the promo to the very end.
After everything's wrapped up.
Exactly. After the core argument is summarized and concluded. Just treat it like a standard end-of-video ad. That keeps the main thesis clean.
But what if they're committed to keeping it in the flow? Maybe for, moral context or something.
If that's the goal, then you absolutely need a bridge. A real one, not just a hard cut.
Something to connect the two ideas.
Yes. Instead of jumping right into the facts of 1948, create a brief thematic link, maybe 30 seconds max.
So you connect the idea of moral clarity in politics, which is the whole Walsh dilemma,
Right.
to the importance of historical truth, which is the documentary's topic.
You can say something like, ultimately, the choice facing the right is whether to prioritize short-term gain or long-term moral truth, because avoiding truth, whether in rhetoric or in history, always leads to instability. And then you pivot.
An intellectual handoff, not a jarring cut.
That's it. It respects the momentum.
Okay, so moving on to the core analysis of the piece. I see what they're doing, contrasting Walsh's old and new stances, but it feels like the argument relies way too heavily on just quoting other people. It limits the presenter's own voice.
I get why they did it, though. I mean, when you're tackling something this thorny, you want to show that other influential people are having this same fight.
Sure.
And the quotes are powerful. Seth Dillon saying, try to silence our voices and you'll only make them louder. That's great stuff.
It is. But the weakness is that it's mostly just summary. The video starts to feel like a compilation of other people's good points,
Yeah, a synthesis.
Right. I want to hear what this creator thinks about the shift, not just a list of who else is upset by it.
Exactly. The suggestion, then, is to use those quotes as concise support, but let the presenter's own analysis do the heavy lift, dissect the consequences, the rhetorical tricks.
We need their own intellectual property front and center.
So, for a concrete example, instead of reading those long statements from Dillon and McCormick, maybe synthesize their points into one sharp thesis at the top.
Like, these figures argue that unity without virtue is poison. Something like that.
Perfect. And then you can focus the rest of the time on a really deep analysis of Walsh's own rhetorical shift.
Because that's the goldmine, isn't it?
It is. Contrasting that vivid language from 2017, calling them bastard children of a cancerous movement,
Nobody and nothing.
with today's language of cautious unity, this fear that we'll start eating each other. That changes everything. So what does that pivot actually imply about his political priorities now? Is it a strategy? Is it surrender? That's the analysis we need.
Yeah, we need to really explore that election-winning strategy idea mentioned in the transcript.
We need to analyze why someone might feel the need to shift the Overton window like that. Don't just say it's immoral. Explain the perceived strategic value. That's the real insight.
You could even dedicate a whole segment to it. What is the actual long-term cost of giving someone like Nick Fuentes a soft interview or platforming Candace Owens?
Right, that elevates this from just reporting on a problem to a genuine strategic critique.
Okay, that feels much stronger. Now let's talk about the ending, the conclusion.
Ah, yes, the final moral argument, anchored by that analogy. It just doesn't match the political gravity that's been built up.
I was right there with the argument the whole way. And then we get to the landing, and it's a parent dealing with a rebellious child, a wayward child who craves direction.
The weakness is just how much that minimizes the threat. We've spent the whole video talking about white nationalists, praise for Hitler, political violence.
Real, dangerous extremism.
And then the solution is framed like a domestic teaching moment. It pulls the rug out from under the entire argument's urgency.
It's a huge tonal disconnect. So the suggestion has to be to find a concluding analogy that actually aligns with the severity of what we're talking about.
Well, if they're absolutely married to that analogy, they've got to connect it back immediately to the political reality.
How so?
Like explicitly state that standing firm provides the good masculinity needed to challenge those snake oil peddling influencers that McCormick mentioned. You have to make the link between the family analogy and the political threat concrete.
I think the better move is just to replace it.
I agree. It's too generalized.
Why not use a concrete historical or political parallel instead?
Now that is a powerful idea. That reinforces the whole theme of principles over party. Instead of a wayward child, you could analyze a past political movement that faced a similar internal crisis.
Right, like think about how the Republican Party dealt with the John Birch Society decades ago.
Perfect. That was a moment where the establishment had to draw a clear line in the sand. Analyzing that provides a real political direction for the listener. It's not just a generic life lesson.
A historical parallel has the political weight that the wayward child thing just can't carry. It would be a much, much stronger way to land this conversation.
Absolutely. Okay, so this has been a really productive discussion. I think we've identified 3 crucial areas for improvement here.
Yeah.
First, fixing that disruptive promotional pivot. Either move the trailer to the very end or build a real thematic bridge to it.
Second, deepening that analytical voice. Go beyond just summarizing what others are saying and really dissect why Walsh's rhetoric changed and what the actual political consequences are.
And finally, making sure that concluding argument has the political weight it needs. So replace that generalized family analogy with a sharp, relevant political or historical parallel. Exactly. Implementing those suggestions will really maximize the piece's coherence and its overall impact. We encourage you to revise it based on this, give it that deeper texture, and please submit it back to us. We'd love to see how it grows.